Donald Trump has introduced his housing policy in the framework which will inform it. Take a look.
To further address the housing affordability crisis, we will work with states like Nevada, a great state. We're leading big in the poll there, by the way. Thank you very much. Good governor. To open up large tracts of federal land for housing constructions, and similar to opportunity zones that I did with Senator Tim Scott, a great guy from South Carolina. Senator from South Carolina. Came in, he said, I have this idea. He's had it for a long time, but he could never get a president to execute it. I did. And opportunity zones, one of the greatest things that we've done in terms of economic development. I give Tim Scott a lot of credit for that, too. These areas will have low taxes, low regulation to stimulate rapid economic growth, maximum affordability, and the return of a thing called, which I always come back to, the American dream, because we've lost it.
It's time for applied analysis. Let's get into it. That then brings up the question of what are opportunity zones, since he's saying he will use that same legislative framework to roll out affordable housing, right? So opportunity zones are a part of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act bill that he signed in 2017. Within that bill is a provision that says that, hey, if you have a capital gains transaction, meaning that you have sold something that is an asset that is exposed to capital gain taxes as a result, if you take those gains and place them into an identified area that is in need of economic development, then you will have the taxes waived on those capital gains if you leave your investment there for 10 years. Now, how were those areas identified? Great question. Those areas were identified by way of census tracts, which are ways that we identify communities when we're doing the census every 10 years. As a result of this legislation, 8,700 census tracts across communities in the United States were identified as opportunity zones areas. In the city of Los Angeles, we have 193. Let's go check one out. Welcome to the West Adams community in Los Angeles. This is a black and brown community filled with wonderful black and brown folk who work hard every day to provide for their families. Across the street from where I am at 5223 West Adams, in November of 2016, the CIM Group purchased a plot of land for $700,000. As they owned that land, they also purchased 4291 West Adams Boulevard, and they also purchased 5103 West Adams Boulevard, as well as 5359 West Adams Boulevard and 5561 West Adams Boulevard. So here's the thing with 5223 West Adams Boulevard, which is located just behind me and is still under construction, as you can see. The CIM Group purchased this particular plot of land in November of 2016, just as Donald Trump was elected. So obviously the Opportunity Zone legislation had not been signed into law as of yet. This presented a type of conundrum because the legislation requires that all property is purchased with capital gains money. So the CIM Group crafted a solution. They came up with the CIM Group Opportunity Zone Fund. The CIM Opportunity Zone Fund required that individual wealthy investors invest at least $500,000 into the fund. It was wildly successful, so much so that they were able to purchase the building next to 5217 West Adams Boulevard for $1.6 million in January of 2019. After that, the fund continued to grow, and by the end of 2019, according to CIM's SEC filings, the fund raised $226 million from 325 individual investors. As gains rolled in from existing investments and new investors continued to pour in, the CIM Group was able to buy this plot of land on which a building now stands at 5213 West Adams Boulevard. This enabled CIM Group to now own 5223, 5217 and 5213 all in for $4.9 million. So you're probably wondering, how exactly did the CIM group get the money over from the original investment group over to the CIM Opportunity Zone Fund? Well, the general partner managing the CIM Opportunity Zone Fund owned an LLC. The name of that LLC was 5223 West Adams LA OZ LLC. And the group was able to sell the buildings collectively for a profit of $6.4 million to the Opportunity Zone Group, therefore allowing for the tax benefits to kick in. Are you saying that they effectively sold it to themselves to make a profit and take advantage of tax cuts? That's exactly what I'm saying. The CIM Group Opportunity Zone Fund was doing so well that by March of 2022, the fund had raised over $1 billion from 1,700 individual wealthy investors. They raised so much money that in this collective of buildings here is actually another address. It's 5211 West Adams Boulevard. And the CIM group purchased that address. It sits like right next to 5217. So basically they're one building. And they created the building that you see here. And the CIM group sold this building to another company managed by the CIM Opportunity Zone Fund for, wait for it, $12.5 million. The CIM group had purchased that same plot of land for $2.5 million. Now, did the CIM group, aka the CIM Opportunity Zone Fund, take special care to make sure that they checked every box that is required for the Opportunity Zone legislation? Absolutely, because the Opportunity Zone legislation requires that when a company, an entity, or a person acquisitions a property, they must substantially improve the property. And how that is defined in the legislation is you must spend the same amount of money improving the property as you spent to acquisition the property, and you have at least 30 months to make sure that you spend those same amount of funds. Also, what CIM did was they made sure that they filed for an aspect of this property to be a 6-story residential building and that it would accommodate some low-income housing. Now, this particular building turned out to be a 6-story building. It has 74 units in it. 6 of them were designated for low income, less than 10%. And as CIM did this in the West Adams community, home values shot through the roof, making homes in the area more unaffordable than they already were. And CIM has no plans at stopping in the West Adams community. They are making their way right down Crenshaw. So what have we learned now that we understand how opportunity zones are applied in space and how they come to impact communities, as well as how this legislation comes to have an effect in the lives of everyday people? We know that opportunity zones are not about building up or improving communities. Rather, opportunity zones are vehicles of investments for the wealthy to become more rich and avoid paying taxes that would improve and benefit the local communities in which they have purchased those specific buildings. So who then becomes responsible for the tax burden in the area, even as they are priced out? These are some things to think about. And these questions have extreme implications, particularly when Trump is saying that he will shape his housing policy after the opportunity zone framing. Oh, I guess I should mention before I leave that the CIM Opportunity Zone Fund is now worth over $2.2 billion as of June 2024. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.